I played 3 extraction shooters, so you don't have to. One of them is easy to get into, another one is the most punishing one on the market, and the last is technically not even an extraction shooter. Also, you can decide what is worth your time, money, and if you can even run it. Tarkov is the original in this category. It released a closed beta in 2017, gained popularity in early 2020, and stood alone for a very long time as the definitive extraction shooter experience. Arena Breakout launches early access in August of 2024 and is currently amassing a large following for its streamlined approach to the original extraction feel. Grayzone Warfare launched into early access April of 2024, is currently in pre-alpha, so it's the earliest in development out of the bunch. We're going to be ranking the 3 of these in 6 categories: new player experience, gunplay and realism, maps and atmosphere, audio design, performance and polish, and price. As a first time player on Arena Breakout, you have a great tutorial that gets you through the mechanics of the game, takes you to point A to point B, teaches you how to use your map, teaches you how to accept quests and how to do stuff within the map, how to extract, and everything you might need to just go on your own. For that, 3 out of 5. Tarkov, to my surprise, actually has a tutorial now. They teach you how to inspect your weapon, check for misfires, and all this other stuff they might need, but outside of that, it is very hands-off. It tells you, hey, get moving, and to follow green flares, and it leaves you a little bit confused, and I didn't even finish the tutorial because I had a timer to actually extract, which is realistic to the game, but without my right leg, and I was limping everywhere, I didn't make it to the extraction. So because of that, it's way too brutal for a first experience. So for that, I'll give it a 2 out of 5. Grayzone Warfare, in my opinion, probably has the best tutorial. It drops you into the game via helicopter. It tells you to go to a certain destination. It teaches you how to use your PDA and your map to ping locations. It tells you how to get there. It tells you what you're looking for. You do the first objective and then you go back to your base. It teaches you all the mechanics along the way, and I think it's the most thorough. For that, we're going to give it a 4 out of 5. Now the next category is gunplay and realism. Arena Breakout to me has the most arcadey feel out of the 3 for me. It doesn't mean it's not real or has any good gunplay. It's quite the opposite. All the guns feel manageable, snappy, responsive, which for players looking for a more esportsy feel, a more competitive feel, this could be a plus. You have total control of your weapon and your character, no weapons jams, plenty of animations for reloading, the standard experience, but everything feels snappy, smooth, and almost like COD. You know, it is there. It does feel less out of body than some of the other ones, but because of the responsiveness and how good it plays, 3 out of 5. Tarkov is probably the most realistic out of the 3. You have weapons checks, misfires, weapon jams. You can't heal yourself a certain amount of time. You just lose the limb altogether and you start limping throughout the map. So it is definitely more brutal in that sense. The guns still feel snappy. Weapons feel like actual weapons. And what can go wrong will go wrong. And that's the plus from Tarkov, 4 out of 5. Grayzone's gunplay is also good, but it feels a little bit more stiff. Enemies take a little bit more bullets to go down. All of these games have a one-shot headshot mechanic, but these guys feel like they're on Fent, and they can't be taken down sometimes, even when you're on point blank. But besides that, it is a good feeling game. The healing system is probably the best one. I haven't had the opportunity to res anybody in Tarkov or ABI, and in Grayzone, it's not a simple, hey, hold F to revive your friend. You have to surgically remove or fix whatever wound they have, give them blood, give them a splint, and if you don't meet those requirements, they will not get back up. So I feel like the co-op mechanic and the multiplayer in that game is a little bit more elevated than the other 2. So for that, I'll give it a 3 out of 5. The gunplay is decent enough. Alright, for maps and atmosphere, Arena Breakout maps designed are great. They feel almost like a COD map in that you can differentiate all the different places, and I'm sure with time this will come for all the other games. However, for Arena Breakout, because of the arcadey feel, it leaves me the least immersed, just because you know where everything is, you know how the spawns behave, and because everything's so clear cut in different POIs. Because of that, 2 out of 5 for me, just off immersion. Tarkov's maps feel cold, anxiety inducing, and built more like real life worlds. I've only played Exchange so far, and it's basically just a mall, outskirts of a forest, and train tracks. It's very open, but at the same time feel claustrophobic. There's always that imminent doom or this impending feeling that you're gonna get shot out of the literal nothing. And just the design feels more realistic. Because of it, 3 out of 5. Grayzone Warfare is just one map, unlike the other 2 where you have different maps and different matches. It's one big island, all joined together in a persistent world. If you don't like walking, then this is probably not a game for you. You can go thousands of meters before your next encounter, especially in PvP when you're looking for enemy bases or, you know, real players altogether. It's very much a dense jungle with more terrain differences than the other 2. It's more immersive, but it is mostly jungle and less POIs because of it. But for the immersion and the differences and terrain, I'd give it a 4 out of 5. Audio design, I think they all do a good job at audio design for their respective atmosphere. In ABI, I can pinpoint where people are and have no problems with it, 4 out of 5. In Tarkov, I can vaguely get the direction of an enemy, then the sound is gone, almost like everybody's a ninja, 3 out of 5. In Gray Zone Warfare, every enemy feels distant even when somewhat close by, maybe having to do with the scale of the map, but things tend to feel quieter and more distant for that 3 out of 5. For performance, AB on my PC runs around 180 to 200 FPS, has the most polish in the UI, the simplest to use, and it works for you, not against you. It feels smooth, no FPS drops, and very consistent, has the most polish out of any of the games, and it's 4 out of 5. Tarkov was surprisingly good. It ran at around 120 FPS, which is decent, and Tarkov has always been a notoriously difficult game to run, so clearly they've made improvements to performance. The experience went by smoothly, there wasn't any crazy drops, and it's the old same here, and you can tell by the interactions and the graphics as well. For that, 3 out of 5. Gray Zone Warfare is in pre-alpha, and it's not known for being the easiest game to run. The whole game pretty much relies on upscaling, and it feels slow at times. You can tell there's delay because of the upscaling and the frame generation when your FPS drops a little bit. That being said, it runs around 90 to 120 depending on where I am, but definitely less smooth than Tarkov, 1 out of 5. And lastly, we have the price. ABI is completely free to play and has all the things from a free to play game that is expected to come with it. I'm talking stores, events, gacha mechanics. You can mostly ignore it, but it is there and some people will be turned off by it. It kind of feels like a COD store. I'll give it 4 out of 5 because it's still free. For Tarkov, it's a $50 game, so you're paying a little bit more of a price for a much more brutal experience. It does not come with PvE off the bat, so you are playing just real players and you are paying an additional price for that. So there's that. Outside of that, it does have a in-game shop for cosmetics. I'd give it 2 out of 5. The price is pretty high just for PvP, and it does have PvE, which is not included. Some of these other games have both, so 2 out of 5. Gray Zone Warfare is $40. And for the price, it's a solid experience. It's cheaper than Tarkov, but also less complete. There's no in-game store as of yet, and they do have PvE and PvP respectively, so you can play either or, and this all comes with one price, 3 out of 5. So here are the rankings. Arena Breakout has scored a 20, Tarkov has scored a 14, Gray Zone Warfare has scored a 18. These scores even surprised me. Guys, if you enjoy any of these games, make sure to try them out. Some of them are regularly on sale, and if you're new to the genre, Arena Breakout is a great place to start for absolutely free. Tarkov is the original definitive experience and the most hardcore out of them. You won't find weapon misfires, weapon jams, and having to clear them on any of the other games. So if you want a hardcore experience, that is definitely for you. Gray Zone Warfare is technically not even an extraction shooter, it's more of a war sim. Sure, you extract to your base and you can go via helicopter, but for the most part, it's a persistent world where you're walking with your buddies for miles, getting into gunfights, and returning to your base. So there's an experience here for everyone. Please let me know in the comment which one you consider picking up, and let me know which one you're currently playing. As always, remember to like and subscribe. This was Kyan. Peace.